Welcome to ForexTV.com. Today is Wednesday, December 31st. I'm Kathleen Reddington with your New York Forex Market Buzz. 2008 is drawing to a close, and it has been a year full of wild swings. So, how did the dollar stack up versus some of the majors? Australia's dollar slid 21% to the dollar this year, while New Zealand's Kiwi tumbled 24%. The U.S. currency extended its 2008 advance for 4.5% on the euro, as the euro posted a 3.9% fall to the dollar, which is its first annual drop since 2005. The pound made a huge drop, a loss of 27% to the dollar on the year, which is the pound's worst performance since the gold standard ended. And the yen is being declared the winner of all the currencies for the year and had the U.S. dollar tumbling 19% against it since the start of the year. And now for a look at the latest headlines from the CEP News Desk. Initial claims for unemployment benefits in the U.S. fell to 492,000 for the week, which follows a 16-year high of 586,000 claims for the week prior. The dip ends a 7-week streak above the 500,000 mark, but the Labor Department said the figures were probably skewed by the Christmas Day holiday as well as auto shutdowns. The Milwaukee Manufacturing Index fell 5 points to 30 in December compared to November's reading of 35. The prices paid index decreased to 29 from the previous month's level of 32. Today we are joined by Andy Busch of BMO Capital Markets. Hi Andy, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Kathleen.
All right, so this is the last day of the year. I want to know, what are your Forex predictions for 2009?
Well, looking out into my crystal ball, which is, of course, got a few chips in it after this past year, but I do give myself credit for calling a dollar rally at the end of 2008, which occurred. Going forward from here, I'm looking, really the major theme I see for next year is really which central bank is going to be engaging in quantitative easing and which ones aren't. Clearly, we know the United States is. The Federal Reserve has already announced programs to buy up to $500 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities and other type of issuances. So we know that they're going to be increasing the money supply pretty significantly as the year goes on. And that leads me to be quite bearish for the U.S. dollar, especially in the second half of the year. And I think the one country that is highly unlikely to engage in quantitative easing is the Eurozone and the ECB. So that's a currency I expect to appreciate significantly going into Q3 of next year. Another country that will probably engage in quantitative easing looks like is Japan. So I don't expect the yen to see the type of gains that it had this year, certainly against the U.S. dollar, nor against the Eurozone or the euro. So my outlook is pretty much that we see the dollar continue to soften against most of the world currencies, but as the central bank begins to buy more of these securities, in 2009, we could see a risk of the euro going to 160, even as high as 180.
All right, and we've seen a turbulent year in the U.S. economy as a whole, and with a new year and a new administration taking over, I want to know what you think the top priorities that need to be taken care of to improve the economy are.
Well, clearly they're going to engage in a lot of Keynesian activity. They're going to be bringing forward a stimulus package that could be as large as $1 trillion next year. I believe they'll have something on President-elect Obama's desk by the time he is sworn in on January 20th. So you'll see over the first part of the year a lot of discussion about what that money's going to go to, but it's targeted for shovel-ready projects, whatever that means. I think they're going to allocate a lot of money out to the states to engage in infrastructure build-out. So you'll see some economic activity generated from that. But really, for the U.S. economy going forward, I mean, we're looking at a very negative fourth quarter. We'll probably get those numbers in January, but for Q1 and Q2, it could very well be negative as well, maybe along the lines of minus 3% for Q1, minus maybe like 1.5% in Q2, and then flat for the rest of the year. So clearly the Obama administration is going to be highly focused on stimulating the economy.
All right, and the pound is down on the dollar to the lowest level since the end of the gold standards for the year. What do you see ahead for the pound?
Well, that's a country that mirrors the United States in many ways. Its housing sector had a huge run-up, just as it did in the United States. They engaged in a lot of the similar financial instrument activity that the U.S. did. Unfortunately for the U.K., they certainly don't have the same resources that the United States does to expand, for instance, the balance sheet of the Bank of England, and also to stimulate in the same way that the U.S. government can. So they're under a little different set of priorities there. I know that, I believe, I shouldn't say I know, but I believe the Bank of England will look at doing a lot of different things to try to arrest the slide of the economy there. Clearly, the British pound has been under great duress. I mean, we saw a high last year, I think somewhere about 212, and this morning we were down as low as 143.5. So pretty dramatic move there. The downside from there, we could see parity reached against the euro. Clearly, that's not saying a whole lot since we got up to 98 at one point. We're back down to 95 today. But I think we'll make maybe another run at that and then see where we can go. But the pound is going to probably be a laggard in the early part of 2009.
All right, Andy, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure, Kathleen.
This has been your New York Forex Market Buzz with Andy Busch of BMO Capital Markets. I'm Kathleen Reddington. Join us later this afternoon, 4 p.m. exchange, right here on ForexTV.com.